Hi guys. So this is actually going to be a little bit of a random video. It's not technically a reaction video. It's more of a video, kind of giving my thoughts on something that I've been seeing a lot of recently. But in specifically, it's a response to the Lord Jamar video that um, it was like a podcast or something, or like an interview that he did on the comedian Godfrey's YouTube channel, and it was basically him claiming that the Earth is flat, something that we've seen like a rise of, a resurgence in popularity, you might say, in recent times. So this is just me kind of giving my thought on one particular thing that I seem it seems that a lot of people who believe in flat Earth seems to like regurgitate, which is the fact that you know if we are on the Earth, how are we, especially for people down under, people in Australia, New Zealand, and all that? How are they sticking to the Earth, and how is the water able to stick to the Earth, and how is all this? Everything sticking to the earth if we are on the surface of a ball and everything should fall off or fly off or get sucked into space because gravity doesn't exist. And yeah, look, I am not the most qualified to explain the intricacies of science to you. I am not. I'm moderately intelligent. I did a computer science course, 4 years. I have a honors degree. I have a keen interest in science and discovery, biology, chemistry, physics, all that stuff, and I watch a lot of videos on it. And I like to learn and about the world, about our solar system, galaxy, the universe, how everything works. And, there's a lot of smart, intelligent people who have done the work, who have put in the time and the work to do the research, to give us information. And they don't always get everything right, but if they're going to tell you something, they're going to at least try to give you reasons why. And hey, okay, look, this is the proof I have. Can we replicate this or not? But before I go off on a tangent, but the point I want to make, and I want to add to this, just to kind of give a little bit of clarity on the whole gravity isn't real situation, is, well, I think a lot of these people, and I'm not going to insult anybody, this isn't that type of video, but I just think a lot of them are looking at this from the wrong perspective because they're so fixated on the word gravity that they've kind of lost the the vision of what that word represents. And I was going to get a magnet to do a little experiment here, but I couldn't get my hands on one because I didn't actually look for one. But just use your imagination for a minute if you may. But imagine you have a magnet. Now, obviously, a magnet will only attract metals or magnetic objects. It's not gonna, you can't take a piece of paper and put it over a magnet and have the paper stick to the magnet. That's not how a magnet works. Well, excuse me. If you have a magnet, you can stick things that are magnetic to the magnet, i.e., like a coin, some coins. So it doesn't matter what side. Let's say you have like a little rectangular magnet. You could stick the coin on top of the magnet or underneath the magnet. But because of the magnetic properties, the coin will stick. I mean, that's what we see, and that's what we can experiment with. Like, if you take a magnet and you take a magnetic metal, it will stick to the magnet, either side of the magnet. So from the perspective of the coin, it doesn't really matter what side of the magnet it is. It's getting attracted towards the magnet. So imagine the coin had blood, uh, uh, and the blood was also magnetic. Then that means the coin, everything is getting pulled towards the magnet, regardless of which side of the magnet the coin is. So, from the perspective of the coin, when it's on top of the magnet, it's going down. But when it's under the magnet, it's still going down. You see the picture I'm trying to paint here? Now, when you apply that to the earth and everything on the earth, you, the water, sand, the atmosphere, clouds, everything on the earth may as well be magnetic. Might may as well have the magnetic properties of a metal that would be attracted to a magnet. So, if you're wondering why the people under, because technically from their perspective we are under, because there is no up and down in space. This is just a fact, because you know doesn't matter what direction you go in space, you're not going left, right, up, down. Is kind of really only something that we have on earth, but it's also like relative, a matter of perspective, because you could be going right from one person's perspective, but from another perspective you're going left. So that's only something that we really have here on earth. So the problem with the word gravity, and there's no problem with the word gravity, but the problem with how people perceive the word gravity is that they're thinking that that word is the reason that we are staying on the earth. They think because, oh, you are saying gravity exists, that's the word that makes us stick to the earth. But the word doesn't really matter. The phenomenon, the actual thing that is gravity, will exist whether or not we have a name for it. And I think that's what these people don't get. Just like a magnet could have been called a Google bar or a Johannesburg cuttle car. I don't know. Whatever you want to call a magnet, that doesn't change that this object, a magnet, when you put something that's magnetic, a coin, it will attract it. Do you get what I'm saying? So people are so fixated on the word gravity, and they're like, oh, but no, okay. Let's say gravity doesn't exist. There is still factually a force that is keeping you from floating off into space, as you might say. It doesn't, because they think, oh, because we're on a flat earth and the only way we are staying onto the earth is because, well, it's flat, so we're going down. But that's not, because even if you're on a flat earth, if we are in space, I don't know if the flat earthers believe that there is actually space around us. If the earth is rotating, there is still a possibility that it might spin in a way where, what if the earth flips upside down? Do we all just fall off if we're on a flat earth? Is that what will happen? So, whatever way you look at it, there is a force that is keeping us from floating off into space, as the flat earthers would say. You can call that force whatever you want. It doesn't, the force does not, gravity does not call itself gravity. And you could translate the word gravity in, I'm sure, multiple languages. It is just a force that exists. Call it a magnet, call it gravity, call it whatever you want. There's a force that's keeping you and the water and everything on this earth, that's spherical shaped, spherical, whatever the fuck. It's not even perfectly spherical. It's like a pear shaped, spherical, whatever. There is a force that's keeping you from floating off into space. You can call that force whatever you want. Call it gravity, call it this and that, call it a blunt. I don't care. That force exists physically. We just call it gravity because that's the name that was given to it. It did not call itself gravity. So for all you people who are saying gravity doesn't exist, Lord Jamar, I'm talking to you. Stop. Just go read a book.